Kia ora, good evening. So, in light of everything that's happened and the discoveries that I made in putting everything together, I contacted Jose and told him to run for his life. I emailed him. I don't know if he's getting the emails, but I told him to run for his life because the shit was about to hit the fan and it was going to be the sort of stench that covered everyone that perfume was not going to be able to cover. You're not going to, no amount of incense in the land is going to be able to cover the stench of guilt. When the courts find out what they've done, when the courts find out that these people lied and committed perjury and started legal proceedings based on lies that put the American people in danger and worse than that, children in danger, um, these people are not going to be able to recover. They've been named. They're named in the court case. They'll be named in the media. They'll be named on social media. They'll be named on the streets. And just like the prophecy said, the people who try to stop me from bringing the four corners of the world together will go down in history as being the most hated people in the world. And now we can see why, like it makes perfect sense. We can see everything playing out the way the prophecy said they would. But in going through all the photos in my, I think they used to be called Picasso, but I think it's just called Google Photos or Gmail Photos or something now. I was reliving the past. I was reliving the traumatic events. I was reliving events that I thought where I had it made, where I thought I was building something with these people in America. I was having to relive everything and it was really hard to watch. It was like my life was flashing before my eyes. And I said to my ex-best friend, I bought myself closure because I never got the answers from him that I needed to understand why he turned on me. I really thought if anyone was going to have my back when the shit hit the fan, it would be him. And I was very sadly mistaken. And the thing is, it took me many, many, many years to get over that sense of loss and betrayal. It was really hard for me. But I bought myself closure by just forgiving him. I forgave him because I had to look at it from all sides. And what I saw is that he believed the lies. And even though he should have known better, it showed me how little I actually meant to him when I was risking my life to keep him alive. He used what happened as the excuse to walk away and not love me. I would have given anything to have him back in my life. I was hoping and praying and begging God, let him call me, let him email, let, let me hear his side of the story, and I never got it. All I saw was his involvement in what was going on, and I had to dig deep. I was angry at first, but then I had to dig deep to realise that he was just as much a victim of it as like my sons were. So I forgave him because it was the right thing to do. Sometimes taking the moral high ground is heartbreaking because it means having to admit things that you've seen things in people you don't want to admit are true. And it all boils down to the fact that I have to come to the realization that I never meant anything, because you don't turn your back on people that mean something to you. You don't turn your back on people you love. My sister never turned her back. My nephews, three of my nephews, they never turned their back. You know, so in finding closure and in looking back on the photos from my past, and I've been listening to Fleetwood Mac, and I've never ever liked Fleetwood Mac. But I found comfort in them because in listening to some of their songs, they're reminding me of my childhood growing up in Levin and taking me back to a place where my mum and dad were alive, where my sister was alive, when Amber was alive. And in sitting in those pockets of memory of the people that I've loved and lost, it's like they're the ones that are worth my grief, they're the ones that are worth my tears, not the people who are still alive and turned their backs on me when I needed them the most. And as much and all as what I forgive my best friend and I wish I had him back, I can't take him back because every time I heard his voice, every time I got a message from him, every time I saw his face, I'd be reminded of the fact that he hung around with people who tried to kill his best friend and he did nothing, who were sexually aroused by my 7-year-old son and did nothing, who left me for other women so that he could take advantage of them financially and did nothing, who left his best friend for a pedophile and a child groomer, where I risked everything to protect my husband's best friend before he got let out of prison. I know they're watching. I know they watch everything I do because they watch me to steal stuff. Knight's World, Armour, all of it. Tia Dallin, Paper Doll Productions, Elon Musk, like they're all in on it and they steal my ideas. They turn my books into their sick fetishes on social media. And my ex-best friend knows and he did nothing. And I'm not angry and I'm not sad. I'm just disappointed because he was the one person that I thought was a real man who had honour and integrity, who would do right by me. I maybe built up our relationship to be more than what it actually was, because at the end of the day, if you love someone, if you're loyal to them, you wouldn't turn your back on them when a gang of pedophiles came after them in order to steal their work and their identity. People that he's associated with took on the identity of my sister when she was a little girl in order to sexually arouse Elon Musk, dressed as a knight, where they promoted pizza and pineapple on Night World, which is a pedophile and BDSM code word, and put it out there for all the world to see like it was nothing. And he knew. and did nothing. I warned him, I told him, and he did nothing. And I know he's not to blame, and I'm never going to hold him responsible. I forgive him with all my heart, with every fibre of my being, I forgive him. But I'd never be able to look at his face again, knowing that he's hugged and drank with, probably, and associated with, and driven around to, gone to the houses of paedophiles, child groomers, and their protectors and defenders. He knew my phone was hacked. I went to him for help. He did nothing. He knew that Martin had access to all my social media, that he was hacking all my social media. I went to him for help. He did nothing. So why do I miss him? I love him, but he doesn't deserve my loyalty, because he wasn't loyal to me like I was to him. If it wasn't for me walking away, Martin would have sent Latin King to where he was living in Massachusetts and killed him. I have the letters under my bed. And then the same man who was threatening to kill my best friend is someone that he's now hanging out with like best friends. And the woman who was sexually aroused by a 7-year-old got passed around by them all like a joint. And then she bragged about it. Like it was a good thing. They all feasted on her like she was a bucket of KFC. And they all knew that she tried to be sexually intimate with a 7-year-old boy who is still traumatised by what she tried to do. Luckily, as she moved in to kiss him, apparently, he ducked and weaved and dived and told her to get away from him. I was missing him. I really was. But then I had to see the reality for what it was. He never cared. None of it was real. It wasn't real for him. And I was maybe in my Scorpio nature of being, finding it hard to release and detach, going back on everything that I've seen today. The email that Martin sent, Jose would have known about it. The email that I sent Jose, pouring my heart out, Santaro turned into a card reading. Within like 2 days of me sending the email, she did a card reading based on the email. I think she called it the ultimatum. And I still forgave him. Sometimes it does you more harm than good to forgive people for the wrong reasons. My mother always said you've got to give respect where you get respect, and I gave him respect and put my life on the line to protect him, and he did nothing. So why am I loyal to him when he wasn't loyal to me? And that's what you need to understand. Sometimes you have to just brush it off and take the moral high ground. You can't walk through a closed door. So I had to make the decision to close the door. And it's nothing personal. It's just that the choices and decisions that he made in his life after he swallowed the poison, after he failed the Judas test, as such, that I would never be able to, even if we were sitting watching a movie, going for a walk on the beach, going out for a meal, every time I looked at him, all I would see was when he was hanging around with people who were defending Epsteiners, people who were engaged in a sex cult and a fetish cult. So sometimes the easiest way to give yourself closure when you're grieving the loss of somebody who didn't give you the answers you were needing in order to heal is by seeing the truth for what it is. I reached out 1,000 times and got ignored. I tried to brush it off. I tried to pass it off, tried to ignore it. But in cleaning out my files today and getting rid of a whole pile of junk and finding the stuff that I did and then putting it all together, especially with that whole Igor movie, it's like God's forced me to see the truth for what it is. And it's that I was grieving for a man who couldn't have given two shits if I was alive or dead. Who couldn't give two shits if my son was traumatised by a paedophile or not. As long as he was getting out of it what he was getting out of it, I didn't matter. So all my years of loyalty and all the time I spent trying to talk Martin out of sending Latin King round to stab my best friend like it was all for nothing. I was protecting a man who literally didn't care if I was alive or dead, who knew I was locked up and being starved, and because they watch everything I post, and he did nothing. He could have done something to help me and he did nothing. So it doesn't hurt anymore. I've shed my tears, I let it go. I forgave him, I've brushed it off and I've moved on because it doesn't hurt anymore. Because now I know that he was never my best friend. None of it was real. And he's better on that side of the door. Because I need to be around people who have a higher moral and ethical standing. So there's nobody from my past that's worthy of coming into the future with me, because other than Joanne and Priscilla maybe, because they were the ones who tried to warn me about Martin and I didn't listen. But it would be Joanne. Joanne's the only person from my past that I would want to hear from, even if it was just to give her closure. And my apologies for not listening to her, because when she told me not to marry Martin, I shut the door on her. Because I thought I was doing the right thing by choosing my man. So if I could talk to her again, I would apologise. I should have listened to her. She was a good person. So, yeah. So in looking back, It's like I've spent all these years grieving the loss of a man who in reality knew I was being poisoned and did nothing. Knew we were being targeted and did nothing because he believed the lies, which is why I have to forgive him, because he didn't know he was being lied to. Yet, it's like a double-edged sword, because he should have had faith in me, because if anyone had said that to me about him, I would have defended him. I defend the people that I love without question. And the fact that he jumped on it so quickly means that, like Martin, he was looking for an excuse not to love me. He was looking for an excuse to have a reason to push me away, and they gave it to him. Martin was looking for an excuse to be single, and so his wild oats, which he has done because he's got quite a few kids now, I've been told. He's never consummated his marriage with his wife, but he's slept with plenty of other women. Some of them try to sell their kids to men. Well, not even try to sell their kids, because she wasn't even trying to take money from him. She was just offering her child to a man naked in the bath. So, she's the groomer that offers her child over to men in order to get attention from the men. And I only found out because Kevin came to me and he was freaking out because he didn't know what to do. Because he was due to be paroled. And they record everything, and the thing is, the prison will have all the phone calls. I don't know how long they keep them for, I'm assuming forever because they're inmates, but the prison will have the phone calls. Especially any Martins made to lawyers in regards to the lawsuit for the trial. So, yeah. Today was a wake-up call. Don't grieve for people who don't grieve for you. Don't mourn for people unless they're dead. Don't mourn the loss of people who don't come to you when they know that the information they have can save your life. Don't be loyal to people who aren't loyal to you. Loyalty is such a rare commodity nowadays, and I'm a ride or die. And I'm a bit like God in the fact that I can be too forgiving, and sometimes you need Satan to come in and say, whoa there, cowboy. You're letting them get away with murder. You're letting them get away with hurting children. You're letting them get away with theft and this, that and the other. Like, let me deal with it. So, yeah, I was grieving him. I was grieving his loss. I was mourning for him. And then going through all that stuff to, dump shite from my, from my Gmail photos. Made me realise, hang on a minute, I may be giving this friendship a bit more credit than it deserved. And I'm not angry, I'm not upset, I'm disappointed, but at the same time, It's woken me up. It's made me see the truth for what it really is. Our friendship never meant as much to him as it did to me. Because if it did, he wouldn't have listened to the lies when they were fed my blood to test their loyalty. But I also know that they lied to him. And so that's on him. He's going to have to deal with that. It's not baggage I'm prepared to take anymore. I'm not the one that did us wrong, so I'm not carrying that baggage anymore. So I've put the bags down from the burden of thinking I lost my best friend, and I've walked through the door and closed it knowing I didn't lose my best friend because he never was my best friend. And that what we had was just a fairy tale all in my head because I could be stupidly, naively loyal back then. And I will always cherish the memories that we had. I will always love him for the time that we had. But that time has passed now. He's not the future, he's the past. So I'm okay with it now. The person that I'm sad to have left behind is my Yodi Podi. We had the potential to do something absolutely wonderful with collaborations, and it all got completely destroyed. He was the one person that my sons and I could sit in the presence of and not feel out of place because he was a bit weird and he's a musician, so. And Martin completely destroyed it because of jealousy. He introduced me to the love of composing music. I fell in love with Brahms. I listened to Brahms almost every night. I found Rachmaninoff. I found Strauss. I found, all because of him. And I have to leave him behind as well because it looks like America needs me. It looks like I need to be in America. I can't deny the fact that America's calling me anymore. But I have no way of contacting him. I have no way of reaching out to him. I have no way of Martin's pretended to be him so many times it's not funny. There's no way he would ever leave Switzerland to come and be in America with me, even if I could reach out to him. I miss the way we used to laugh. I miss the way he was very supportive. He was the one that kept saying to me, I could make you famous. You're creating the most incredible stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to be famous. Being famous is the last thing I want. I just want to support the kids. I just want to build for the kids. But I just got to let it all go. I feel like I'm going down a water slide so fast, I can't stop it. And I'm waiting for the splash. The more I think about the probability that God is going to take me to America, the more I don't want to stop it. As long as I know that the trouble is removed. But if I could wave a magic wand and create a wish, it would be that I could speak to Yodi again and he'd say, let's do it, let's go to America, let's do it, let's build this together. And then he could help me compose my musicals. He's the one person when I look at, I can't stop smiling. Even though he's a temperamental grumpy arsehole, he packs a tantrum like a child. He's like a teenage girl, I swear to God. But it's cute. But we're never ever going to be allowed to talk to each other again. He's got people standing in the way, I've got people standing in the way. It's impossible. It's just a shame really, because we could have created magic together on a level that just made so many kids' dreams come true. We would have had so much fun. He makes me giggle. Just Martin, eh? He's the curse. Martin, he's the curse. He curses everything he touches. My Yodi Pody. Anyway. So, yeah. So I'm okay with it now. With what happened. Because I've forgiven myself for trusting the wrong people. It's not a bad thing to trust people. We're not supposed to be living in a world where we automatically don't trust people, but I trusted so many of the wrong people who didn't deserve my loyalty. And I gave my loyalty to people who just didn't deserve it. And he never deserved the title of best friend, because he wasn't even my friend at the end of the day. And that's a hard realisation to have to come to terms with, but it's the truth. And now that I see it for what it is, it's brought closure. It's like it's finalised it. I'm okay with it now. I can shut the door. Because I don't want to be in the same room with anyone. And it's not just him, it's anyone from my past who was involved in that. Because every time I looked at them, I'd be reminded that they were around people who preyed on women and hurt children, or knew what was going on and kept their mouth shut. Like all these people that knew about Epstein and Trump and all the people that are in those files and kept their mouths shut. I can't be around that. I'm not okay with it. I can't keep my mouth shut when I see an injustice, and when it comes to children, I just can't. Especially not with what I'm trying to build. Because if these people came to visit me in my home at the back of the school, there would always be a part of me that's thinking, are the kids safe around them? And it's not to say that they wouldn't be safe around my ex-best friend or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, if the next bit of gossip hit them that they believed, what would they do about it? Would the children be safe? Would they make the children a priority? Because they didn't this time around. They didn't last time. They didn't with my son. They didn't with any of the victims on the Epstein file or the kids from the grooming gangs. Caught up in the grooming gang situation with me fighting Jess Phillips and Keir Starmer. And so, yeah. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm okay with it now. I used to sit there and say, oh, just one message. I used to check my phone all the time, hoping it would pop up and say his name. And now it's like, I think it's best we just leave it here. We need to just leave it where it is. I've got myself closure and I'm okay with it. I forgive, but I'll never be able to forget who he was associating with. The damage is done, and I don't think it's going to be repaired. I don't think it could ever be repaired, because in the back of my head I would always be thinking about the time that he chose pedophiles and groomers and sexual predators over the woman trying to save people from them. So, I love him. I'm grateful for the time we had, but I'm okay with letting go now. The only person I wish I could have back in my life is Joanne. Or at least be able to hear from again is Joanne. And, of course, Yodi Pody. He's such a goofball. Sometimes he's more of a kid than I am. He can be like a teenage girl. But, yeah, I'm going to miss him. He was born to entertain, that man. He was born to make people smile, and it's what he does. He does make people smile. So, sometimes you have to let the star go. You can't hold on to a star. You have to let it go so it can rise and shine. And, yeah, I'd like to be able to just keep them all to myself. I mean, not, how am I saying it? I wish I didn't have to share all my time and attention with him with everybody else. I would like to have been able to not come last. But he's a star, and stars were born to shine. And that's what I'm saying. You can't hold on to a star. You can't cup it and grip it. You have to let it go. You have to let it shine. So, but it's okay because he's on a world tour. He's doing fantastic. He's been in Hollywood. He's getting creative with his music, which is drawing in more followers and more views and that. So Yeah, I could have given him I could have given him his own stage. That's the only thing. At the time that I lost his friendship, I hadn't built half of what I'd created. I'd only just started working on Night of the Black Sun. Back then it was called Vanta Black. And I've created so much more now. He would have had a never-ending supply of work. So, but anyway, but he nurtured a dream, he created a dream, he created a talent and a gift in me I didn't know I had for composing music. And I'll always be grateful for that. I followed the cello brick road and it took me to classical music and composing. So Martin was trying to pretend to be him and get me to sign him up to a whole pile of things and give him money, and he was trying to make out like he was on the run from Bricks Entertainment, thinking that I'd fall for it. But Yodi made it very clear, I don't ask fans for money, and this guy was asking for money. I don't talk to fans, I don't ask fans for money, so I thought, let's just see where it goes. And sure enough. So, but he wanted access to. I wondered whether it wasn't Martin, like last time. Because Martin, they can access my phone as I've showing you stuff, and yeah. Anyway, so he's the one I miss. He's the one that I'll be sad to say goodbye to. That I am sad to say goodbye to. But we're on different paths now. And I'm actually really looking forward to starting again in America once God removes all the troublemakers. So, and I know that there's no way he's going to want to live in America. I mean, we don't even talk anymore. It's been a long time since we spoke. He probably doesn't even remember me. So I'm going to go. So, yeah, this whole thing. When you're mourning the loss of someone and you've had to bring yourself closure, be honest with yourself. Are they really worth mourning the loss of? Because unless they've died, was their loyalty worth it? Is their loyalty worth your tears? Was their loyalty worth your tears? So I wish him all the best. I hope he's fallen in love and got married and had the son that he always wanted. I hope he's living the life of his dreams. I hope he gets everything his heart desires. I wish him nothing but love and light. But I can't have him back in my life because he would be a constant reminder of what I was put through to protect children from an international pedophile, child grooming, sex trafficking ring. So it's not his fault, but it's not my fault he didn't do anything either. So I can forgive him and I can forgive myself, and I'm happy with it. So now I can go. Now I can go. Huh? Let's see what happens next, eh? I'm excited. Bring it on, Lord. Let's see what the next chapter holds. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō. Mwah.